Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel and welcome to a slightly different POV video. You see, usually my POV videos are street photography, city photography related. However, this one is going to be different because we're going somewhere still in London, but a place which has one of the best sunrises, I think, ever. So follow me along as we go into Richmond Park and I will show you and talk to you about why this place is amazing for sunrises and why between now and around November time is the best time to go and catch them. So I hope you've enjoyed the little POV section of Richmond Park. Now I will do a more proper video about photography in that particular location, especially as we're coming into the season for it. However, I just want to wrap this video up with a few quick points, tips, whatever you want to call them, to help you out just in case you fancy going there in the next week or so. So first of all, let's start with gear. I would say the most important lens to have with you is a telephoto 50-140, which is what I've used on the Fuji system, but 70-200 or anything over sort of the 100mm mark will be absolutely fine. The main reason for it is because if you want to take photos of the deer, even though they are, let's say, tame compared to real wild deer, they're still wild animals, and there's still so many people that get attacked because they get too close to their phone to try and take a selfie and the deer goes crazy, especially during rutting season as well. They're getting really protective. So a longer lens will definitely help you get those photos. Another thing is some landscape photographers use a really wide lens, like ultra wide. I've tried it in Richmond Park. Personally, I just couldn't get it to work. There's probably 1 or 2 photos that I've taken there over the years with a wide lens that worked, but everything else just looked better with a longer lens. Now, the main reason for it, I think, is because when you shoot with a wider lens, you want to slightly angle it down so you get interesting foreground, something in the background, and obviously, let's say an interesting sky or an interesting mountain. However, Richmond Park is extremely flat. It's a very flat park. There isn't really much there in terms of an epic background, so to speak. So you will have either foreground or interesting sky, or foreground and potentially nothing, which is why I struggled with it. But I'm sure someone more skilled with that lens could walk away with some good images. Now, in terms of when to go to Richmond Park, in my opinion, I think anywhere from around August all the way through to, let's say, mid-December is prime time, at least for my type of work and in terms of the results that I've got over the years. Right now, you'll get loads of color. It's still warm, it's still dry, and still like a pleasant walk around the park. As you get through into autumn, okay, it does get a bit colder, it does get a bit wetter, but you still get amazing colors in the autumn, and it's rutting season, which means all the deer are out everywhere, and it's by far the best time to take photos of deer. Not to mention, in autumn you will have more fog, more mist, and generally much better colors, at least compared to right now and compared to winter, at least in my opinion. In terms of time of day, honestly, this is a morning place. Sunsets have always been a bit of a disappointment in Richmond Park, whereas mornings hardly ever disappoint, especially if you have fog and mist. That can effectively make your photos, to the point where when I did share all of those pictures earlier on Instagram, so many people were asking, what filters did I use? Did I use any kind of special editing technique? And honest truth is, there's been no filters. I mean, I don't use filters at all, but no filters. And there's been no weird effects, no alternate effect, no ridiculous negative clarity, because all of the effects have already been done by nature, by the fog, by the light. And that can only happen in the morning. Now, in terms of when to get there, you want to be there, let's say 30 minutes, 45 minutes before sunrise. So the best thing you can do is park outside of one of the gates and then walk into the park. However, what you'll find is where those gates are usually not the best places for photos, and you still need to do at least a 10-15 minute walk further into the park to then get the right type of light, or at least face the right type of light, so that everything is not just flat lit and you are actually backlighting your subjects. And just slight tangent here, if you look at all the photos from this morning, you'll notice that pretty much all of them were either backlit or side lit. And in my humble experience in that particular location, or in any photography in general, I found that backlit and side lit is way more pleasing and produces way better results than, let's say, front lit, as if people are walking or animals or things are into the sun and you're just taking a picture sort of dead on. But I digress. So yeah, you want to get there way before sunrise and you want to walk to your location, and you effectively want to be ready to walk into the light and to, let's say, walk through your chosen location as the sun is coming up. Realistically, you'll probably have, I reckon, max an hour of very good light before it becomes really harsh. Not to say you can't take photos in that harsh light, but what will happen is the harsh light will burn the fog and the mist away, and then you will lose all of that mood and all of that magic, let's say, that you get in that particular location. Oh, and finally, as for camera settings, I was using around about f4 to f8, shutter speed minimum 1/500, and then the ISO would be whatever it has to be to make everything look right in terms of exposure. And then in terms of focusing, I was using single point AFC, not the zone because it's unreliable for these conditions. Yeah, single point AFC, and in 1 or 2 conditions where it was too foggy for the autofocus to be accurate enough, I would just flick it into manual focus and take a photo that way. Okay, I think that's about everything for just a very quick little tips, advice bits about Richmond Park. So if you are going to go there anytime soon, I hope these have been somewhat useful to you. As I've said, I will do a more proper Richmond Park video, but I think that will be a bit later in the year because there are a couple of other locations that I am trying to figure out before I make that video. So yeah, if you're interested, keep an eye out for that. That's it. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you do have questions, comments, please write them down below. But for now, I'll leave you to it. Thank you and see you soon. Bye.